The arena is always the ultimate challenge at the end of a Kirby game, so I thought it would be a good idea to try to make guides on how to beat them. Today we're doing the Boss Butch mode of Kirby's Dream Land 3. This game came out a year after Kirby Superstar did, but the gameplay in its all bosses mode is a lot more reminiscent of Adventure in Dreamland 2. You fight every boss in order without the ability to heal, and there's no refill before the final boss this time either. Although in this game you have 10 hit points. Unlike the aforementioned games though, you can't seem to get any abilities during any of the bosses in this run. But oh well. The really cool thing about this game is they put a lot of care into this mode. While the older games just compiled the fights, this game has a completely new background for every boss made for them just for this mode. Also, every boss has their own unique game over screen, and they drew new artwork for the credits, which is counted as a third ending. Just like this game as a whole, all of this detail is extremely charming, and it's incredible that they put the time to put it in the game, just for Boss Butch mode. There's also the strange detail of getting this perfect screen by beating Boss Butch and doing this combination while Zero is dissipating that I found out thanks to the YouTuber Pinchy. But without any further ado, let's begin. Wispy Woods. So you want to be at the far left of the screen the entire fight. Inhale the apples and jump to spit them out. When he is at half health, the dark matter possessing him transforms him and he starts walking towards you. Run towards the left, but inhale the fruit when he throws them at you. My friend, Potato, who was with me when I was playing the game, has this pro strat that when he's about to reach half health, keep the fruit in your mouth until he throws another one, so you can hit him and then immediately grab another projectile while he's transforming. You don't have to use this, but I thought it was cool. Acro. Acro is a fascinating boss. The first phase is easy. Dodge his charge, then spit the rock back at him. The second phase is pretty difficult though. It's like a way harder version of Sweet Stuff from Dreamland 2. I still remember how surprised I was when I fought that boss that you needed to blow bubbles into the starfish he summons to reflect them into him. It's the same principle here, except you can't reflect the anchors he spits out, but everything else is still game. You can blow the bubbles in several directions in this game, upwards, downwards, or straight forward. You can wait for Acro to position himself in front of you for an easy hit, but to effectively damage him you need to blow them upward or downward to hit him since he's very evasive. But this is extremely tricky to pull off and difficult to have the correct positioning. It's good to reflect the boulders he summons back at him, but make sure you're still dodging if you try that. Pon and Con. A boss in the same vein as Lololo and La 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 and Naruf and Nelly in the previous Dreamland games, but a bit more difficult. You should inhale more than one of the junior Pon or Cons. This will allow your spat out star to go through enemies to hit Pon or Con. Although the best part of Naruf and Nelly was that if you did this, it did a lot more damage, which isn't the case here. And in fact, they have quite a lot of health anyway. Because of that, I would describe this fight as an endurance test. Stay in the middle area of the arena. Staying too far to the ends of the screen is dangerous. However, bombs will fall from the top of the screen near the middle of the arena. They can land on one floor or go through them to the bottom floor, so keep that in mind. You know it will go through the floor if it does a small bounce first. There are going to be a lot of moments where you get cornered and need fast reaction time. Just make sure if that happens to spit out what's in your mouth to protect yourself even if it doesn't hurt the bosses, or to jump to a safe area if possible. Addo. Addo is more talented than Adventure's Paint Roller was, and creates a boss rush for you to deal with. The movesets of these bosses are very simplistic though, especially considering their original incarnations in the older games. This is definitely another endurance test. First is the Ice Dragon. Don't stand too close to him or you'll get hit by his ice breath. When he slings his ice block, you can spit that back at him, but don't stand too far away or you might create another ice block to shield him before you can land the hit. Potato told me that tip. Next is Sweet Stuff. When his yellow light is circular, he will spawn starfish, which you use as your weapon. When it's spiky, he will shoot electricity at you. You can hover to avoid the first two attacks, then fall back down to the ground to evade the third one. Next is Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. Stand near but not directly underneath the one in the sky and inhale the projectile. Despite that it looks like they're floating, you don't need to jump to hit the one on the ground, but when there's only one left, they will float higher off the ground, so you should do a small hop when spitting out your star then. When there is one left, they will go in a diagonal direction and you could lure him to charge at the middle of the screen to dodge him. Finally, there is Kracko. You will be safe at the bottom left and right corners. Just keep an eye on Kracko and look for his tells to know what move he'll do. You need to be wary of when Kracko goes down and then will start tracking you. You need to run to the other end of the screen to avoid his lightning. You also need to look out for when Kracko will slide in a circle position in the middle of the screen. He will spawn out co-Krackos during this, which you can inhale, but you should wait a second to be as precise as possible so you could inhale 2 at the same time. Strangely, spitting 2 enemies at Kracko does double the damage, even though it didn't do that with Pawn and Con. Another potato tip. When Kracko is defeated, just slide kick Addo. King Dedede. In the first phase, Dedede fights like he always does, but easier than usual. Don't stand too close in front of him because he can inhale you. Be careful about going directly above him because he can jump up and slam his hammer down, which is what you need to wait for, as well as his super Dedede jump to get the stars you need. But his super jump is a lot more telegraphed in this game because of his goofy spin jumps. Then there's his second phase, where Dark Matter's control is a lot more apparent. To dodge what we'll call his Pac-Man attack, wait until he starts biting towards the ground, then fly up on the left or right side. If you are precise with this, you can dodge it easily, but if you hover too early, he might fly into you in my experience. So you basically need to lure him towards the ground. Also, you shouldn't hover until he is doing the Pac-Man attack, because if he starts doing it while you're hovering, you can get hit. When the Eye of Dark Matter rips his stomach open, you will shoot 3 attacks. Quickly spit out the first 2, then inhale the third one. Wait for him to float lower to the ground, then jump up to hit him. This is the only way to hurt this boss in this mode, so this also becomes an endurance test. Dark Matter. Now we have the final bosses, which you fight with the Love Stick. So when he does his eye lasers, either stay above or beneath him or directly in front of him. I would say it's best to be in front of him, but at the opposite side to him of the screen during this fight. But keep moving so you can dodge him when he's moving in the middle of the screen. When he shoots his petals, basically you just need to spam your Love Stick and keep moving. You can destroy the petals with your attack, so try to do that. By the way, I have no idea why they made the background look like Sprite in the Boss Butch mode. That's quirky. Zero. The leader of Dark Matter is extremely dangerous and hard to dodge. You want to save all your health for him. Make sure you are always as far left as you can be. He will shoot blood at you, which takes quick reflexes to dodge. Although, something I just noticed while editing this video is that if you shoot a blood spurt 2 times, you can destroy it, so that's good to note. He also can spawn a bunch of baby Dark Matters at you, which you can't destroy. My best advice for these 2 attacks is to mostly focus your eyes on Kirby to try to be more precise with your dodging. You can try to be under him, but still a little in front of him to dodge his attacks, but he suddenly moves up and down, so it's hard to say that's viable.
It is viable.
The worst part for me is when he'll suddenly just go to the left with no telegraphing beforehand, and he can do this on the top or bottom sides of the screen. So my best advice for that is when he isn't doing the blood attack or the Dark Matter attack, keep your eyes focused on him and keep moving the entire fight so you have quick enough reflexes to dodge this. Then he will shoot blood at you from the background, like a certain boss from Return to Dreamland. You can tell where he'll shoot the blood by looking at where he is in the background. So in my situation, I just needed to go up and then back down to dodge it. Eventually, you can whittle his health down, but he's not giving up. His bloody eye will circle around you, and you can hit it when it's on your right and left. Potato told me to do this too. Anyway, that's it. Hope this helped.
It didn't.